Welcome to the Coach May Show. We winning, and do not apologize for it. Confidence, composure, class. The setback leads to the setup.
Welcome to Win, the Coach May Show. I'm glad to be here with you guys. I'm here with my producer, Darren Stevens, great guy, part of the Corner to Corner podcast crew in Mount Sterling, Kentucky that has taken something from nothing to something that's significant in our community and impacted a lot of lives. I want to give a shout out to the Corner to Corner podcast crew and all that they do for the high school athletic programs around Central Kentucky. Thank you guys. Darren, I appreciate you. You are a good man. Short episode today. I want to talk to high school coaches. I want to give you two fundraising ideas to help you win, to help you make your investment in your players uncommon. The first idea, a letter writing campaign. Oh, it's so simple. So simple. First of all, the only cost you have is postage. And maybe your school will pay for your postage. Maybe your booster club will pay for your postage. But the only cost you're going to have in this is postage. Maybe you pass that cost on to your student athletes. Here's the idea. It usually needs to tie to a capital campaign. You're trying to raise money for a certain initiative. Renovating a locker room, buying uniforms, a summer travel trip, new technology. Aim small, miss small. Focus on one or two things that you're trying to specifically raise funds for. And put that initiative in the form of a letter. Short letter, 2 or 3 short paragraphs. Because you want it to be a one-pager and you want it to have some white space beneath your signature at the bottom of it, where you can instruct each player to do something like this. Uncle John, thank you for taking the time to read this. I hope you consider donating to this project. We sure appreciate you. Love, your nephew, Jimmy. And that is in your player's handwriting, which is usually going to be very sloppy. You know, I don't know why they don't teach cursive writing. Why don't they teach cursive writing anymore? Huh? I don't write in cursive, but they don't even teach it anymore. That's called a tangent, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, it'll be in the sloppy handwriting of your student athletes. That way it's personalized. So when that uncle opens the envelope and sees this form letter with your signature on it, but also sees a handwritten note at the bottom of it by his family member, his nephew, his sister's son, his brother's son, he's going to send you a check. Our response rate is somewhere like 70% on these. And so we also include a card. And it has 3 tiers. And it's a $100 tier, a $500 tier, and a $1,000 tier. Now, depending on your demographic, you might want to do a $100 tier, $1,000 tier, $2,500 tier. You might want to do $100, $250, $500. You know your demographic better than I do. But tie it to something specific. And so what happens is you give each player 5 of these letters. They have to send it out to 5 friends or family members that can write a check for $100, $500, or $1,000. You know, you don't want to be sending these to people who don't have any money, that care about this student athlete. And so you gather the letters back, you inspect them, make sure they did what you told them to do, you know, who's it going to, that they signed it, that they wrote a little note, and then they have to address it on the envelope. And then I would take all those and I would fold them, put them on the envelope, and then on the front of the envelope, I would write the kid's name, Jimmy's high school basketball program. And that would be under the, we would have a Montgomery County or Ashland Paul Blazer or Kentucky Wesleyan or Valdosta State, envelope with the logo and stuff like that. And underneath it in the top left, it would write Jimmy's high school basketball program. I would handwrite that. So when he got it out of his mailbox, he would say, Jimmy, that's my nephew Jimmy. So he'd open it, he'd read it, and either something's going on with them financially or they really don't like little Jimmy. Those are the only reasons they're not going to give. So coaches, the only cost you have is the stamp. Trust me, you'll thank me later. That's some low-hanging fruit. A typical high school program, I don't know why you're not making $5,000 to $10,000 a year off that. Second idea. Live stream is here to stay. I don't want to get into the details of this. Maybe, Darren, we need to do an episode later on of the technology of this, and you could be a part of it and, talk about what is needed from a, I don't want to say software engineer, but maybe in-game engineer and production standpoint, and what you've learned from a technology standpoint. Matter of fact, that's probably a really good episode to help coaches with some fundraising. But I'll just paint the general idea right now. Live stream is here to stay. Go sell sponsorships and advertising for your live streaming. I'm a fan of not putting your live stream behind a paywall. Okay? Go sell sponsorships. We have two tiers. We had a $3,000 package and a $4,000 package. The $3,000 package is where we collaborated with Huddle Fan, Huddle TV. Everybody knows the Huddle sports software. So if you're a high school coach, you can have access to Huddle. And if you're live streaming your sporting events, sell advertising. Every 7 or 8 seconds, that logo overlay would scroll across the screen or it would freeze up in the corner. You can actually have the scoreboard at the bottom, and you can, tonight's game sponsored by, and it would be there the whole contest. And then, you can sponsor a pregame a coach's interview, a halftime stat breakdown, in between quarter break, timeout sponsored by, and a postgame coach interview and player interview. And these are ways to upsell those moments. That was our $4,000 package. If they sponsored, in addition to the live stream, logo overlay and sponsor mention in general, they would sponsor a portion of the game in itself, like a pregame or postgame or halftime. And then it's really easy if they have somebody producing commercials for them. So we had several entities that had a corporate entity that gave them branded commercials that were 30-second spots that were MP4 files, and we just uploaded them and we played commercials for them. Some of them didn't have that capability. Some of them, Darren actually would go out and he filmed the commercial and generated it himself. And it was great quality. I liked it better because it was authentic quality. I think our first year doing that, we raised like $27,000. Kept all the money. So it's something that you need to engage in. You're going to have to learn a little bit about technology, but live stream is here. It's not going anywhere. Figure out a way to capitalize on your team's live streamed events. It is low-hanging fruit. It is low expense ratios. Early on, you might have to invest in some equipment like a laptop, maybe, but you can do everything from the Huddle Focus camera in your arena or at your football stadium or in front of your baseball or softball field. You can tap into that live stream. So you may already have the camera there. But those two things, the letter writing campaign and capitalizing on live stream sponsorship. If you're not already locked into doing those two endeavors, you're leaving fundraising capital on the table. Hope that was helpful. I want this podcast to be more about mental performance and the mental aspects and the practical aspects of winning. I also want you to be able to go raise more money for your programs if you're a coach, to where you can invest in your kids, and that investment will in turn lead to more winning.
And do not apologize for it. Comfort it. Confidence, composure, class. The setback leads to the setup. We winning. Woo. And do not apologize for it.